A pleasant afternoon to everyone. I am here to present to you the Department of Education Manual of Style. September this year, we received a DEPED Memorandum number 82 Series 2022 regarding the reiteration of the strict compliance to the use of the Department of Education Manual of Style. The Department of Education, through the Public Affairs Service and Publication, has developed the DepEd Manual of Style, or DEMOS, to produce a unified look in all DepEd communications and publications. For letters and official communications, all offices strictly use the block letter format. In addition to this, the following guidelines for the contents of issuances, letters, and communications shall apply: the font style, Bookman Old Style, and font size 11 point. The guidelines on the use of the Department of Education Manual of Style, the rationale behind the creation of the Department of Education Manual of Style is because the world is continuously changing, and so the rules of grammar is constantly changing in the world Englishes, which give confusion to Filipino writers and learners. To address the problem, the DepEd adopted the American English and it used the Chicago Manual of Style, or CMOS, as its official reference. This CMOS is the prescribed manual for most publishing institutions that use American English. So let us remember that the DepEd, which we are affiliated with, uses the American English. Therefore, when we write communication letters, we follow the American English. The Department of Education Manual of Style, or DEMOS, is a set of standards for the writing and design of documents, either for general use or for specific publication of the department. The purpose of this policy, first, is it shall serve as a guide for DepEd officials, personnel, and learners to write clear and concise materials or documents for communication and publication containing DepEd's strategic priorities. Second, it shall be used as a reference for formatting and styling of documents and materials to ensure clarity, completeness of information, conciseness, and consistency in spelling, grammar, punctuation, hyphenation, capitalization, typeface, and abbreviation, among other rules. Third, it shall facilitate the process, mechanisms, and procedures in formulating policies to ensure easy-to-understand DepEd issuances. Lastly, it shall strengthen the communication channels of field offices and facilitate the flow of information. The Department of Education official issuances and letters. DepEd issuances are official documents containing policies, procedures, or information released and signed by the Secretary or other authorized officials. For brevity, it is suggested that the titles of DepEd issuances be 2 lines at most. I am pretty sure that everyone has visited the SDO Caloocan City website, and in that website, we would see the numbered memo, unnumbered memo, advisory, notice of meeting, division letter, regional memoranda, and DepEd issuances. The issuances are DepEd order, DepEd memorandum, unnumbered memorandum, office order, office memorandum, and advisory. A department order. A department order contains policies promulgated by the central office, which are general or permanent in nature. It is signed by the secretary as the alter ego of the president. It is department-wide or nationwide in scope and is usually long-term in nature unless rescinded or amended by another department order. So DepEd orders are permanent, it is long-term, and it can only be changed with or by another department order. One of the DepEd's issuances is the DEPED memorandum. DEPED memorandum, it is an issuance or official document containing instructions or information which are temporary in nature. For example, creation of committees, submission of reports, announcement of celebrations, surveys, holidays, and contests. Another official document is the unnumbered memorandum. A numbered memorandum is an official document containing instructions or information which are temporary in nature but is not marked with assigned numbers. So, a numbered memorandum do not have control number and year series. Another issuance is the office memorandum. Office memorandum is an issue similar to DepEd memorandum but concerns only the DepEd central office personnel and staff. Another issuance is the advisory. Advisory is an issuance containing information on events, scholarships, training opportunities for teachers and students conducted by non-DepEd organizations or agencies, which does not endorse any education-related activity of public stakeholders and private entities, organizations, and institutions or companies. Therefore, participants may attend such activities on a voluntary basis. Hence, traveling expenses and registration fees are charged to personal account. Let's take a look quickly at a department order. A department order has 16 elements. The first element is the letterhead. The letterhead consists of the department seal. It has the agency name, which is in the Old English text. On the right side, we have the release or approval date. And then on the left side, we have the control number and year series. And then we have the title of the department order. And then here, two has the proponents' names, implementers, stakeholders, or officials concerned. And then on the first paragraph, it is the statement of the policy. And then on the next paragraph, second paragraph, is the objective of the policy. And the succeeding paragraphs talks about the statement of or statement on new provision or modifying previous provisions. And then we would see also the statement of publication and then the effectivity. And then there is the closing statement, which says immediate dissemination of and strict compliance with this order is directed. And then we have the signature of the uh, vice president and the secretary. And then we have the references. Our references are the previous DepEd orders, which is amended. And then we have the perpetual index. And then here on the left side, on the bottom, we would see here the tracer. The tracer includes the initial of the DepEd, the initial of the encoder, and then we have the file name of the DepEd order, and then we have here the assigned tracking number and also the date it was prepared. And then we also have the footer, which can be seen in the first page. Here in the first page, we would see the address of DepEd, we have the contact number, and then the website. At this juncture, we want to know how to begin writing a letter because when we start writing our action research, we will be needing different communication letters. So, letters have different format styles. We have the block format and then the semi-block format. But according to the manual of style, we have the Department of Education manual of style, we have to use the block format. So a block format is used for business letters and basically the entire text is left aligned. On the other hand, semi-block format is also used for business letters The address, complimentary clause, and the signature are aligned on the right side. Now we have here our sample letter format block style. As you can see, there is a letterhead. The letterhead consists of the department seal, and then we have the agency name, which is in the Old English text, followed by the region, schools division. We have the school's name, and then the address. Following that is the date when you wrote the letter, and then after that is the name of the person you are writing to, and also include the position and then the school's name and then the address of the school. Now we have here through school research committee because we must have our action research checked or approved by our school research committee. Following that is our salutation. The salutation can start with the word dear, madam, or sir. And then we have the body. The body consists of the DEPED memorandum where you anchored your action research. And then following that is we also have to state the objective of our letter. And then after that, we have our complementary clause and then the signature of the proponent or proponents. And then we have the recommending approval, which we should not forget, the recommending approval of our department head. And finally, we have the name of our principal who's going to approve our action research proposal. With regard to spacing, from the letterhead, we need two spaces and then two spaces again for the date to the person you are writing to, and then one space from the address of the school and to the word through, and then from the word through to the salutation, we need one space again, and then we need one space again to start a paragraph. Our paragraph line spacing is single. And then if you want to start another paragraph, that's one space again until you reach the complementary clause. And then after that, after the complementary clause, you need to allot three spaces for the signatories or for the proponent's name. And then we also have the recommending approval, and the space after that is three spaces before the signatory. Sometimes we deviate from this rule because we want to fit our letter into one page only. Here is a sample letter format using the semi-block style. So here we also have the same content as what I have shown you in the block style. However, the only difference is the date here is on the right side now, and then the complementary clause is on the right side. The signatory is on the right side also. And then the paragraph is already indented here. Here is a sample letter format block style again. So let's imagine that your action research proposal has been approved. Now we have to make a letter for the implementation of your action research. Now we have to make another letter. So once again, the elements of our letter is here, the letterhead, the date, the person you are writing to, and it's you have to write through whom? Senior education program specialist in the research department. It's a courtesy that you should know, or we must know, the complete name of the education program specialist. And then we have here the salutation. After the salutation is the body of the letter, which is not indented. And then in the body of your letter, also include the DepEd memorandum where you anchored your action research. And then you state again your objective or the objective of the letter. Following that is your complementary clause. And then the signatories, again, signatories or signatory, and then the name of the person who is going to approve your letter. Let us be reminded that according to the Manual of Style, Um, we have to use the block style, and then the Bookman old style font, and then 11 point is the font size. It is not indicated whether we are going to use short band paper, A4, or long band paper, but um, preferably we'll use the A4. According to the Department of Education Manual of Styles, or DEMOS, there are principles of effective business writing. First is clarity. Keep it clear, simple, avoid using jargons. These are words that are difficult to understand by others. It must be concise. Keep it short, brief, and direct to the point. Completeness or complete. Provide complete and necessary information. It must show concreteness, avoid unclear terms and language, do not use idiomatic expressions and figures of speech. Consistency. It must be consistent in terms of spelling, grammar, punctuation, capitalization, typeface, and the like. It must be coherent. Follow a logical sequence in your discourse. It must be courteous. Always build goodwill in your communications. When we say goodwill, we must create a friendly tone, be polite and courteous to your readers. Thank you very much for listening and watching. Good afternoon.